Back again? I told you. Of course, a fresh fool to replace the last fools. What brings you stomping through my workshop, eh? This one's got spirit. What do you think of that, my girl? A kindred soul?
You better hope not.
Hear that, Eora? Another who would tolerate your barbs and insults. But you come seeking the White Forge, like they all do. Boys with smooth cheeks and wild dreams. Girls with bright ribbons tied next to their scabbards. Old men and women, too, seeking a final blaze of glory before they're snuffed out for another turn at the wheel. Sound familiar? Pazzo! Most bold for one who came seeking my help. I have this conversation with every pig-headed swashbuckler those Postenagos and stalwarts send here. Go see Galvino, they say. Surely he'll help you.
Must have slipped their minds what a busy and important fellow you are.
I should have let them stone you. Would have silenced your endless rattling forever.
Then you'd have naught but those frostbitten inbreds for company.
The spiteful imbeciles destroyed my career, ruined years of work. But let us focus on the reason for your visit, yes? The villagers and their adventurers hammer and pry at the battery as if they were laying siege to some moldering lord's keep. But those stones were laid by some of the finest builders ever to have lived, disciples of Abidan in the truest sense. They will not fall by the whims of any kith, and the door itself, it is infused with living essence. Perfetto! This is the crux of the matter. The Pargrunen of Durgan's battery perished within their own keep, victims of a violent disagreement among their own commandants. Surely in the village you have heard stories, no? Disappearing caravans, tracks in the snow, screams from the high towers. the work of spirits still trapped in the battery, and a testament to those impenetrable walls. But the door of the keep, the one the Pargrunnen filled with essence, it was made to listen, to recognize its masters. Traditional Aptapo cultures revolved around language. Words revealed who they were and where they were from. That is why you need a Kandek. That's the simple explanation. A Kandek is a statement of purpose, a declaration of identity. Each is unique to its stronghold. Thus, to enter a fortress like Durgan's battery, you would stand at the gate and recite its Kandek. Verus! A shame the Postonagos here cannot appreciate such elegance. To learn the Kandek, you must speak with one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. A shame they are all dead, no? But no doubt their souls live on in one or two of the villagers of Stalwart, like fine wine poured into a cheap pot. But to identify them, that is the first problem. You would need the skills of an animancer. A watcher? The Verus? If this is true, then you could find a sole descendant from Durgan's battery, no question. But the greater difficulty remains. You would have to learn the Kandek from the dormant soul. And to do that, you would have to awaken it. Oh, yes. Whoever you awaken will live with the memories and the personality of a past life. Maybe peacefully, maybe not. That is why you must pay attention to the soul you would awaken, no? It is a monumental thing to impose on another, but these are the very people who wish to rediscover the White Forge, Verus? An awakening is merely the jolting of a dormant soul into consciousness. When such things happen normally, it is because something has reminded the subject of a past life, often violently so. Thus, to awaken one of the former dwarves of Durgan's battery, you will need to address that soul, and preferably by name. But show some care. When you examine these souls, whatever it is you watchers do, you may see images, memories. These are moments of special import. What you see will tell you much about the person, and perhaps the condition in which they awaken. Awaken them from a traumatic memory, and who knows? Maybe they awaken thirsty for blood. Or maybe you awaken someone else. Here, this has been tuned to the Aeon of Durgan's battery. Use it near the villagers, and it should tell you if one has a soul old enough to have come from the battery. It is a pleasure to have such a courteous guest for a change. A shame you must dirty your boots in Stalwart.
I'm going with him.
You? Go to Stalwart? Is this your macabre sense of humor, or has something gone to rust in that beautiful head I crafted?
No one will bother me while I'm with him. Besides, I can help him find people in Stalwart.
You haven't been to Stalwart in 13 years. And this watcher sees souls. What help could you be? Besides, I have need of you here. You owe whatever remains of your wicked life to me. This charming specimen is a convicted murderer. The Devil of Carrick, she's called.
Mighty fine of you to start with my good qualities, and you wonder why we don't get more visitors.
Killed over a dozen people before they finally caught up to her in Stalwart. Perfect company for lonely camps and mountain passes, no?
Hey, I know how to start a campfire.
The only reason she's not a frozen corpse is because I convinced the old mayor to let me try an experiment. She committed her first crime in the village of Carrick. Burned a family alive in their home. Did the same thing in half a dozen other villages, but the name stuck. Into a work of art! Look at this! Craftsmanship worthy of a jeweler! fully articulated joints, capable of grasping a pen and writing her own name.
And of crushing your throat.
Show me another smith anywhere in the Deerwood who is capable of such delicacy and precision. She is a masterpiece. Why build a fortress, or a village, or anything? To make something that keeps, It was the early days of the legacy. My peers in the colleges of animancy were filling the Hollowborn with the souls of animals. I thought there was a better way.
One with a Plum Academy job back in Salona? Don't forget that part. Here we go.
They were going to stone her anyway. Why not allow her to be put to some useful purpose?
My life's ambition. To serve somebody's useful purpose.
I approached Mayor Sinahiod and begged. He saw the potential and allowed me the privilege of attempting my little experiment. Then, I accomplished what few animancers have even dreamed of. No academic support, no patron. Just me in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, now you got them all wound up.
I transferred a fully intact soul from a living subject to a fabricated body. She retained her personalities, her memories, all of it. Yet the villagers saw only a stolen corpse. She may be mad, but she's no fool. She wouldn't survive long on her own. If the villagers didn't send a hunting party after her, the Eramans would claim her. Her joints and mechanisms require maintenance, and she cannot perform all of it herself.
See, he's reminding me, in case I get any bright ideas.
She's a fine specimen, her personality notwithstanding. Quay? No, you don't know what you ask. This woman, the Devil of Carrick, she was a notorious murderer, burned people alive all over the region. Besides, she works for me. After all, I am the one who preserved her. So you get use of the devil's services, and I get the satisfaction of knowing those stiffnecks are sweating through their small clothes, eh? It's a deal.
Fine price for a blacksmith striker. Suppose I should be flattered.
And there you have it, a bargain.
Gores.
A moment. You are going back to Stalwart, yes? Perhaps you could do me a favor. There is a man in the village named Grinde, the head fisherman. The rest of Stalwart kisses his feet because he fills their stinking blades with speckleback. But I know he's not as virtuous as he seems. That self-righteous meddler engineered my eviction from the village. He turned them all against me. Now I want him to feel the scorn of those mush-brained imbeciles. Humiliate him, of course. Show his neighbors what he truly is, and let him live with the disgrace. He's always been a ripple sponge addict. Just got good at hiding it once his sainted sister died and left him in charge of the fishery. But he keeps a stash in the fishery, sneaks in at night when the others have gone home, and emerges sluggish and red-eyed a few hours later. I want you to expose him. Go to the fishery after dark when it's empty, find his ripple sponge and show it to Renengild. Do not answer me now, but when you return to that festering eyesore and smell the stink of fish that hangs in the air, consider what I've said. Your misgivings collect like grime on a doorstep, but think, if this Grinde is a fraud, does he not deserve to be exposed? But be sure to approach the fishery by night, when it's empty. They will give you no end of trouble if they see you stealing during the day. As would I, but there is little to tell. They never gave their names. But they seem to know more about the battery than the others, which is unusual because they did not seem like typical adventurers. Their hands were smooth and marked with ink, not scars, and they traveled light, unusually so. Val himself could not have said, and I haven't the time to concern myself with the business of strangers. Something else? Quay. Other projects, they are none of your concern. For years I've been trying to create another like the devil of Carrick. Yet those post-Enagos in Starworld destroyed my machinery. Now, I can only create these broken, mindless things. The devil remains my most perfect creation. Smugglers, slavers, fugitives, the kind of riffraff that pass this way. Rarely missed, and good work to keep my little devil busy. I can't present the devil of Carrick to the academies, can I? A mad woman and a murderer? No. I need to bring a success to the republics. As must the gods themselves. Something else? Quay. Other projects, they are none of your concern. For ye now. Something else? Quay.
Uh-huh.
The devil has not scorched you yet, eh? Perfetto!
Yes?
Right here. Stalwart's great this time of year. Beareth spells in bloom for a good 5 days, and the mountain squall actually blows the fish stench away from town. Better than staying at Galvino's, anyway. I got a reputation. People in these little villages ain't the most open-minded. Not yet. Believe what you want. I killed a lot of folk, but none of them was in Stalwart. Plenty, but nothing you need to know. There weren't much to say about it. By my reckoning, that means it was pretty good. Ma was a trapper, taught me to set snares and dress game. Dad was a tinker. I never had his patience, but it were fun to watch him work. My brothers and sister, they was good folk too. Part of me's glad they ain't here to see me now. Only kind to have with someone like him. Or me. No other way to feel about the man who flayed my living soul. He'd spread butter on bread and claim he made something. Never been accused of modesty, that man. He managed to stuff my soul into this heap of bronze, true enough. Maybe that makes him a genius. Also makes him a son of a bitch. Every day. Just kept putting it off. It's not like either of us was going anywhere. Looked after his tools, cleaned the workshop, swung the sledgehammer. Oh, and snatched up travelers for his soul tinkering. But don't you worry. They were all bad folk. Just so you know, you got a real professional working for you. Yeah, I've had enough of him too. effigy's eyes, that man loved to talk. If it's sane and logical reasoning you're wanting, you're going to be disappointed. Ain't no sense in any of it. Mayhap you've heard of Coldmorn. Was a quiet, forgettable patch of the woods, till a pack of rabid clodhoppers set it afire.
That was the start of the purges. Dear Woodens killing their own.
A farmer on the other side of the mountains woke up one day with his head all aflame and took it for the gibbering speech of his god. And so did a few thousand of his countrymen. So when he tired of Vorlus fields and marched west, a horde of armed Hicks followed. Bunch of fool nonsense is what I'm talking about. But others have called it the same. If you know that much, then you've heard of Coldmorn. Ours was the village that let a few thousand of Widewind's troops pass through.
You were from Coldmorn? When I heard what happened out there after the war, I couldn't believe my ears.
Fine line between couldn't and wouldn't. Maybe not, but the Raid Sarens had us clean beat in numbers. Even bumpkins like us figured that. Just look at Mercy Vale. They fought back, and now there ain't one stone standing atop another in the whole village. Besides, we asked the Duke for help. Told him Widewind's troops was coming through the mountains. Seems he had better uses for his soldiers. So we let Widewind's soldiers pass. Left him for the Duke to wrangle on his own terms. Was after the Godhammer made a fine grit out of Widewind, when Deerwoodens were running on rage and looking for something to burn. They came at dark, hundreds of folk. Every one of them mourning someone lost in the war. Must have decided it was our duty to escort their dead back to the wheel. They didn't light their torches till they had us surrounded. Time we saw 'em, There was a ring of fire closing around us. I woke. Ran to the window. Whole village were a maze of flames. Couldn't see nothing for the smoke. And the screams. Most ran for the streets. Got caught by the mob. Others hid, let their houses burn down around them. Ran, fought, hid, burned. Same as my neighbors and family. Just luckier. Hunting down the men and women what took part. Thought that much was clear. Well, we just gotta do our best with what time the gods give us, don't we? It were a mob that destroyed our village, but it was just one man that burned my family's house. Kept hoping I'd get to him as I was working my way through the rest of those maggots. No matter now, I suppose.
Certainly. Yes? Adair, you were a military man. Ever consider making a career of it?
I did for a while. Then I heard you could make money shoveling pig shit, and thought that sounded better.
Well, at least it would get you out of the deer wood.